The movie kicks off straight into Bahia, a city that looks like a carnival glued to a roller coaster. And the main attraction? A super fast train that slices across literally every corner of the city, like the world's most dramatic mascot. Beach shores? Cool. The train zooms right through. Downtown center? Goes flying past. Underground subway? Yep, it'll flash its headlights at you. They even sell tiny toy versions of this train in every street shop, like it's some celebrity athlete. Bahia doesn't just love this train, it worships it. And that's where we meet Falcon. Falcon's a raccoon, but not the trash-digging, clumsy kind you see knocking over your bins at 2 a.m. He's a professional thief, like he's got style, skills, and pure nerve. If pickpockets had an Olympics, he'd be the gold medalist every single year. His favorite day of the week is Picnic Day, which, for him, basically translates to all-you-can-steal buffet. No human is fast enough to catch him, and their pets? Forget it. They try, but they don't stand a chance. This tiny dog even goes full action movie on him once, chasing Falcon into a cramped alley like it's personal. Falcon plays along, acts cornered for like 2 dramatic seconds, then just smirks as the dog gets yanked backward because its leash gets caught on a passing HWK cart. Falcon doesn't just escape, he escapes with flair. But here's the twist. Even though Falcon steals all day long, he's not some selfish villain hoarding piles of stolen snacks. He shares everything he gets, food scraps, cans, little items, with all the stray animals living in the area. Every critter around him depends on him, and he always shows up. Behind the slick criminal attitude, there's actually a huge heart. And tonight, he's hype. He announces to his entire little animal community that they're pulling off a full Christmas Eve feast, using all the gourmet-grade trash and leftovers he's collected. The animals explode with excitement like kids hearing they're getting pizza for dinner. Before the big celebration, Falcon stops by this group of 3 mice who act like they're prepping for Navy SEAL tryouts. They're doing tiny push-ups, wearing little sweatbands, training like they're saving the world tomorrow. Falcon chats with them like this is totally normal, then casually shows off a crazy move where he slices a hot dog in midair like it's part of his martial arts routine. Sensei Raccoon strikes again. The mice ask how the great robbery preparation is going. Falcon keeps it cool, says everything's good, but right now, Christmas comes first. Then one mouse asks if Rico knows about the plan. And for the very first time, Falcon's smooth confidence cracks. He laughs way too awkwardly and says, yeah, of course Rico knows. Probably, maybe, hopefully. Perfect timing, Rico's dove drops in like a messenger of chaos, screaming about how the plan is insane. Apparently Falcon didn't dream this robbery up on his own. Some mysterious dude named Hans talked him into it. Hans is obsessed with Bahia's trains, their tech, their money, everything they represent. So yeah, this isn't just snatching a wallet anymore. This is full-blown criminal mastermind territory. Falcon gets irritated and reminds the dove that he's literally a professional thief. This is what he does. And he already promised his street friends the best Christmas dinner of their lives. He's not bailing. Eventually, Rico's dove just sighs and tells him to be careful because one wrong move and Falcon's either in a dog pound or not around at all. With that, Falcon heads toward the nearest train station. In that eerie crowd, a little girl gently places her kitten Maggie into the pet section, promising to meet her again at the final stop. Maggie watches her owner walk away, but the second she sees Falcon hopping onto the roof, she's instantly interested. Falcon lands on the train roof with total ninja precision, pauses just long enough to wink at Maggie, who's unimpressed, and then he calls Hans through his headset. Showtime. Inside the pet cabin, Maggie gets placed with a bunch of other animals. 2 rabbits welcome her, proudly announcing they're expecting 10 babies. Maggie's polite, but she's distracted watching Falcon move from car to car like he's on a stealth mission. She spots a hamster in a tiny cage playing a sad little melody, and even though he can't talk, his photo taped to the wall basically explains his entire tragic backstory. The pets keep introducing themselves. Momo the clownfish is salty because his life looks way too much like Nemo's. A turtle named Leo says he's trying to score a ninja role in Bull City, but casting agents only hire famous animals now. A random duck recognizes him, freaks out like he's meeting a superstar, and Leo totally pretends he's used to it. Then there's Randy, a chihuahua whose anxiety level is so high it basically breaks physics. He needs sugar to stay calm. His cage literally has a sugar cube launcher. When he freaks out too hard, the cage hurls a sugar cube straight into his mouth, and he instantly passes out. This is ridiculous, but trust me, it becomes important. Meanwhile, Falcon keeps hacking into the train systems exactly how Hans planned. One override after another. And once Falcon cracks the pet cabin controls, Hans takes full command of the whole train. He watches the last remaining passenger in that car, a huge German Shepherd police dog named Rex, sniff the air like something's wrong. Rex is serious. A top-tier canine. The moment he senses Falcon's scent, he locks in like a detective solving a case. Falcon panics and whispers to Hans that this might be a problem. Hans doesn't care. He says everything is perfect, because the show is about to start. Hans suddenly gets on the speaker and tells all the human passengers to step out because of a technical issue. Maggie's owner Lisa slips out, still watching recap videos on her phone, thinking she'll be back inside in 30 seconds. But once everyone's off, the doors lock, and the train blasts forward, speeding out of the station like it's racing a hurricane. Lisa screams and tries to run after it, terrified she'll lose Maggie forever. But it's useless. The train doesn't slow down, doesn't stop, doesn't hesitate. It's officially hijacked. Inside, the pets still think everything is totally normal because the service is awful and nobody tells them anything. Falcon finally freaks out. He demands answers from Hans. Hans goes dead silent. That's when things get even crazier. The train barrels straight toward a Santa Claus standing on the tracks. The poor guy jumps out of the way, loses his sleigh, and flops into a snowbank. Falcon gets thrown from his hiding spot and lands right in the middle of the pet cabin. All the pets panic. Falcon, trying to survive the moment, pretends to be some official pet supervisor, even though every exit is locked and Rex is giving him the death stare. Rex smells criminal energy and promises to destroy Falcon at the next stop. Falcon laughs, saying an old police dog stuck in a cage has zero chance. Rex snaps back, mocking Falcon's name. Why is a raccoon named after a bird? Falcon tries to think of a comeback, but Maggie interrupts, saying she saw him fly earlier. Falcon is just like, please stop helping. But before anyone can argue, the train jerks violently. Rex stops teasing. Something's seriously wrong. And all paws point straight at Falcon. Falcon tries to steer attention away from himself by launching into this dramatic, cinematic origin story, like he's suddenly narrating his own superhero trailer. He says he grew up alone, surviving off scraps. One day, while digging through a trash can, an armed man almost shot his ear off. He barely escaped, injured and weak, convinced he was done for. But then, according to him, a majestic falcon swooped down, carried him away like a chosen warrior, and raised him in its nest. That's how he learned his insane agility, strength, problem-solving skills, and, yes, supposedly how he learned to fly. Maggie explains the only way they'll survive is by dropping a bunch of the cars so the rest of the train gets lighter. If they don't, Devil's Bridge is gonna snap like a breadstick under all that weight. But the cages are still locked, and nobody can reach the keys. So yeah, all eyes snap to Falcon again. Everyone's expecting him to pull off some legendary Hawkmaster stunt. At first, Falcon's like, maybe later? But Rex's non-stop trash talk about how a thief can't possibly save anyone hits him right where it hurts. Falcon's had enough of being treated like some street clown. He punches open the floor hatch and goes under the train like he's crawling through the world's most dangerous obstacle course. Sparks blasting in his face, metal rods swinging at his head, electricity snapping like fried nerves, and Falcon's just dodging all of it on pure instinct. Halfway through, his little Hawk logo backpack falls off and disappears into the tracks. That moment hits him hard, like losing the last memory of his sensei Falcon. Minutes drag on. No sign of him anywhere. Rex starts ranting that he ran away like a coward and left them to die. But while Rex is mid-speech, the car door swings wide open. Falcon's standing there covered in soot like he just crawled out of a volcano. Everyone cheers like they just met their favorite celebrity. Rex tries to play it cool, pretending he knew Falcon would come back, even though nobody believes him. They start freeing pets left and right, but Rex still blocks the hall. He demands an explanation. Why was Falcon on this train in the first place? Falcon barely opens his mouth before Hans blasts onto every screen in the car, shaking the entire train like he's controlling it with pure rage. The dude proudly announces he didn't do this heist alone. He had an inside partner. Falcon freaks out and smashes the TV with a dangling key before Hans drops his name. Yeah, obviously Falcon is hiding something. Hans gets fed up and slams the throttle harder than ever. The whole train jerks, cages snap loose, and Rex goes flying out of his metal prison in the most dramatic accidental escape ever. The guy finally gets to stretch his legs after being stuck like a museum display. But no time to celebrate. A gas tank in the kitchen car detonates and fire spreads fast. Victor the Greyhound rolls away in his cage toward the pitch-black corner at the end of the car. Everyone thinks he's toast, until a massive snake rises from the shadows. Instead of attacking, she politely introduces herself. Her name is Anna, and she calmly thanks Victor for accidentally freeing her. Then she turns into a one-snake rescue squad, freeing Leo, Andy, Croquetas, and literally half the car like she works at PetSmart. Falcon yells they need to get to car 8. Rex refuses to take orders and throws out that he's the real leader. But when Falcon asks for Rex's brilliant alternative, Rex confidently declares they should go to car 8 too. Meanwhile, Momo the clownfish sighs because they've abandoned him again. Before Falcon can help him, another jolt launches Momo's tiny tank across the room like a bullet. Falcon and Rex dive, miss, flop, and land face first. Momo luckily survives, flopping around like he's in a slapstick comedy episode. Falcon scoops him and dunks him into the closest water source, a toilet. Momo screams. Falcon panics, grabs him again, and dumps him into a jar of pickles. Worse. Absolute nightmare. Finally, Falcon empties the vinegar and fills it with clean water. Momo is safe but emotionally destroyed. They push into the next car, but a wall of fire blocks the way forward. Rex finally steps up with a risky plan. Head all the way to the first carriage and detach it so it slows down on its own. Maggie, who's apparently carrying the whole squad's IQ, warns him they're moving too fast for that plan to work. Rex hits her with the harsh truth, staying here means burning alive. No time to debate. Falcon charges first, smashing flames with a frying pan like he's battling them in a cooking show boss fight. A couple of pets follow him, completely forgetting Momo again. One by one, they sprint through the kitchen chaos. Then the group turns to Coco. The parrot nervously admits he can't fly. Not even a tiny bit. He's been pretending the whole trip. Before anyone can comfort him, a full gas tank slams down and explodes, ripping open the wall. Coco gets blasted into the flames. But when the smoke drifts away, there he is. Alive. Terrified, but alive. Back at the broken carriage behind them, Rex tries to justify his plan. Falcon claps back saying if they hadn't wasted time arguing, they'd all be in car 8 already. No more arguing though. The hanging carriage starts snapping off the train like a loose tooth. Thinking fast, Rex pulls down the ceiling lights and turns them into a flimsy but genius bridge. Croquetas the duck waddles across first. Leo follows, bouncing around like a bowling ball on wires, but somehow landing perfectly. Then the pregnant bunny goes, encouraging her hippie husband to cross. But he refuses, says today isn't spiritually aligned for travel. Rex just grabs him and throws him across before he can protest. The rabbit starts crying about how he'll never meet his unborn babies. Everyone's already too stressed to deal with it. Falcon starts tossing croquettes through the air to get the tiny AliExpress Nemo clownfish to leap across. It works. Then Victor's turn comes. Falcon walks him through it like a yoga instructor guiding meditation. Focus on the tail. Be one with the balance. Breathe. Victor's almost there, until the entire carriage shakes loose and drops. He nearly falls to his doom, but Anna the giant snake stretches out and snatches him like she has lightning reflexes. She promises she won't let him fall alone. Everyone instantly questions why she didn't help earlier. Her body could have been the actual bridge. But story logic says no. The broken carriage finally derails behind them and explodes exactly like Maggie predicted. Falcon asks what's next. Maggie says they need to detach at least half the train before reaching Devil's Bridge. That's literally the maximum weight Hans designed into his sabotage. Meanwhile, back in the city, Rico sits with the mice watching the live news like it's an intense drama series. The anchors declare the train officially lost. Lucas, the slowest mouse, spills that Falcon's real name isn't Falcon, it's Morris. Rico's the only one who knows why, but that answer is coming soon, and it's insane. Determined to save him, Rico's dove jumps straight off the balcony and sneaks into a news helicopter flying toward the runaway train. On the train, the animals start uncoupling car after car while Judy teaches Coco how to fly mid-chaos. Rex notices electrical panels ripped apart, clear sabotage, and instantly suspects Falcon. Meanwhile, Magi trips over Lisa's suitcase and gets this burst of motivation from it, spreading some positivity to a very depressed hamster. The reporters in the helicopter film the whole daring mission and confirm the animals are alive, giving their owners a little hope, right before the train reaches Devil's Bridge, which looks like it wants to fall apart out of pure stress. Falcon and Rex team up to detach the final car. The bridge starts giving way under them, and the dog Kachupian hesitates, torn between saving himself or going back for the raccoon. In the end, he jumps to safety. But any victory is way too early. The train is still stuck on the collapsing remains of the bridge. While the animals cling for their lives, a bag of candy launches into the air and Randy, the absolute idiot, can't resist grabbing one. He eats it instantly, knocks himself out, and falls off the train. Coco dives after him, and both disappear into the flames. Everyone screams until a few seconds later, the parrot bursts back up into the air carrying the sleeping puppy, boosted by a shockwave from below. Crowd goes wild. The reporters fly back to the city, since they lost their camera mid-report. Rico isn't leaving, though. He's not abandoning Falcon. While everyone celebrates Coco and Randy's survival, Rico meets with the frightened parrot, who is suddenly not that scared anymore. Rex says maybe, just maybe, they might actually survive this thing. Falcon agrees and lays out the final mission. They must reach the driver's cabin and manually slam the brakes before the train wipes out all of Toro City. Storm clouds roll in fast, and things go from bad to nightmare. Trees fall, logs slam the train, metal screeches everywhere. In the chaos, Falcon's iconic bracelet slips off, revealing that he actually never had a bullet lodged in his chest like everyone thought. Magi panics, Rex pressures him, the raccoon breaks and confesses. He was never shot by a hawk. He cut his own ear on a soda can lid. And the bird who saved him? Not a legendary hawk, just a regular city pigeon. Rico's pigeon, actually. Everyone is stunned. Rex pushes harder, accusing Falcon of working for Han. Falcon finally admits he helped Han at the beginning, but he didn't know Han was a full psycho with Christmas-themed homicide plans. He only wanted to give his friends the kind of Christmas he never had. Right then, Han speeds up the train even more, throwing Falcon off balance and straight out of the train. Even though he lied, the animals are devastated. With Falcon gone, who's going to save them now? Rex tries to stay strong, and Magi tells him he's their last hope. Meanwhile, Falcon wakes up hanging from a lonely tree branch over a cliff. The branch snaps, but he lucks out and falls into a lake deep in the forest. Still, he has no chance of getting back to the train on foot. While the animals debate their fate, Randy worries about his owner. Andy casually shrugs, saying owners aren't a big deal. He literally used his to explode his own social media fame. Even now, he's milking his position on a runaway train for clout. On the news, Lisa appears crying and reporters promise to send a helicopter to rescue her beloved Magi and the rest. Unaware, Magi keeps climbing the train roofs toward the front, just like Falcon did earlier. Hans sees her getting close to the driver's cabin, panics, and launches his drone from his creepy camper van. Not far away, Rico finds Falcon slumped in the forest. Falcon feels worse than ever. He thinks he failed everyone, and now they're all going to die because he pretended to be a hero. He admits he was stupid for trying to be a hawk. Rico tells him he's wrong. Being a hawk doesn't matter, having a huge heart does. Right when the train needs a miracle, Kretas hypes up Leo and Momo to go full superhero mode and help. Maggie finally reaches the brake lever, but Hans pops up behind her, blocking the way. From a distance, Rico yells at Falcon to fix his mistake. Falcon wants to give up, thinking he'll ruin things more, but Rico tells him he's proud of him because he never hesitates to help others when it matters. Motivated by those words, Falcon spots a toy car that fell off the train earlier and uses it like a skateboard to blast himself back toward the train at high speed. Rex confronts Hans, yelling at him to release Maggie because she has nothing to do with his twisted revenge. Hans responds by yeeting Maggie out the window. She hangs on desperately. Rex fights Hans like crazy while also trying to reach her. Hans uses the distraction to toss both of them out, but suddenly 3 unexpected heroes appear: a turtle, a clownfish, and a duckling, all teaming up to push Hans back. They buy enough time for Rex to save Maggie, but Hans comes back swinging for round 2. Meanwhile, Falcon spots a perfect ramp just before the train and launches himself into the air. Hans turns, just in time to get a face full of flying raccoon. Falcon lands hard, but he's back. Falcon hits the ground rolling, barely catching his breath. He looks back at the other animals and apologizes, telling them straight up that he never meant for any of this to happen. He promises he'll fix the mess himself, even if he has to do it alone. To keep Hans from hurting anyone else, Falcon lures the badger into another train car and slams the door shut behind them. He knows he can't match Hans in brute strength, so he leans into the one advantage he does have: pure raccoon ingenuity. He grabs whatever he can find: pots, lids, crates, rolling carts, basically turning the train car into a DIY battlefield just to slow Hans down. The fight is chaotic, wild, and loud, and pretty soon they're crashing out onto the roof of the speeding train. Right at that moment, the news helicopter swings overhead. Lisa is on board, squeezed between reporters who definitely aren't there to help. Down on the ground, authorities reroute the train toward an unfinished line so it won't crash into a crowded area, though, honestly, they're acting like the animals don't count as lives. And that's when Lisa realizes the awful truth. The reporters didn't bring her up there to save the pets. They brought her to record her face when they die. Straight up foul behavior. Back on the roof, Hans finally gets the upper hand. He smacks Falcon down so hard it looks like it might be the end. Even Rico shouting from below can't break Falcon out of it. But then Falcon sees Hans grab Rico and toss him into the air like some sick joke. Something snaps inside Falcon. He remembers the tough little mice who raised him, who taught him how to fight when he was just a clueless raccoon. He jumps up, voice cracking as he roars that nobody hurts his dad. With this sudden burst of willpower, he goes full martial arts mode. He attacks Hans using the exact same techniques the mice drilled into him: the dodges, the strikes, the weird little mouse-style grapples. He even pulls off their signature Kraken move, wrapping Hans up like a pretzel. But right as he thinks he's got the upper hand, they pass under a low bridge. Falcon doesn't see it in time. The crack is brutal. He goes down hard. Hans staggers up, clutching the roof edges, and climbs onto his drone to make his escape. The drone lifts, wobbling in the storm winds, and Hans laughs down at the pets like the villain in a cheap holiday commercial. But before he gets far, the hippie rabbit, the chillest, most peace-loving fluffball on the planet, snaps. He looks at his terrified wife, and something inside him flips. He rockets up with pure dad strength, leaps off the train, and body slams Hans straight through the drone window. The drone spirals. The other pets don't wait for instructions. They jump on Hans like a furry Avengers squad and beat the ever-loving stuffing out of him. The hippie rabbit manages to grab the drone's controls at the last second and steers it into the track switch mechanism, forcing the train onto a safer line. For a moment, It looks like he died pulling that move. But Anna the snake whips out of nowhere, coils around him, and saves him right before the drone explodes. His wife sobs with happiness. Back inside, the mood shifts. The animals look around and realize no humans are coming. No rescue choppers. No emergency brakes. No hero squad. It's just them. Just the pets. They huddle close, tiny heads pressed together, paws holding paws, tails wrapped around friends, and quietly prepare for the end. But Falcon? Falcon refuses. He drags himself up from the wrecked roof panel, half-conscious, body shaking. Rico's voice echoes in his head. I'm proud of you. You help others when it matters. That's what makes you a hawk. Falcon spreads his arms and jumps. He glides through the storm, using every bit of strength and instinct left. Wind tears at him, lightning cracks near him, but he pushes harder. The first car is seconds from disaster when Falcon drops inside and slams the brake lever down with a scream. The wheels screech. Metal screams. The entire train fishtails like a wounded beast. It smashes into a parked service car, flips sideways, and skids down the tracks until it finally stops at the edge of a highway. Silence. Embarrassed by their evil little plan, the reporters try filming again, but their camera battery dies. Their whole scheme burns down instantly. Back at the wreck, Maggie stops the hamster from diving into the flames for an old photo. She gently holds his hands and tells him he doesn't need to chase the past anymore. He nods through tears and lets the picture go, watching the fire consume it. The surviving pets rush Falcon, cheering, hugging him, calling him a legend. Even Rex gives him a tiny nod, the dog version of a standing ovation. But when sirens howl in the distance, Rex whispers, "You gotta go. Pound's coming." Maggie doesn't want him to leave. It feels like losing her heart all over again. But Falcon promises softly that he'll be back. This isn't the end of their story. Owners flood the scene. Pets leap into their arms. Hans gets dragged away screaming, and Rex laughs, saying he still can't remember his name. Lisa destroys the dirty reporter with a perfect Uno reverse card, the recording of their confession. The whole crew turns on their boss. Everyone gets their happy ending. Kids get their pets back. Couples reunite. New friendships form. Falcon returns home with Rico, and that's when he sees it. Not a blanket. Not old junk. Not leftovers. A plane. A whole plane. Waiting just for him. The raccoon story? Far from over. And that's the full ride. Drop a comment down below. Who is your favorite character? Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell, and stick around for the next wild recap.